Here are 3 simple fixes inside of DaVinci Resolve that instantly make your edits look pro without having to upgrade your gear or your plugins. By the way, I'm Ethan. I've done millions of views across the various channels that I've made content for, and this video editing thing I do is all I do all day long. So you're inside of DaVinci Resolve and you're in the color page, and you're thinking to yourself, I'm gonna put a LUT on this. So you go up to your LUTs folder, you find the LUTs that you want. In this case, I'm using one of my own LUTs, and you drag it on your node, and you're like,
yeah, this is a good place to start.
So you start adding more, and you make your changes here, and you're like,
oh no, I need to bring down the highlights maybe.
The problem with this is that you haven't brought down the intensity on your LUT. This looks like crap because it is crap. I'm gonna get rid of these 2 nodes here. But what you really need to do is come into your keying options here, and take key output and drag that down. This reduces the intensity of the LUT, and it reduces how intense it's going to affect your image. The trick is to treat LUTs a little bit like seasoning on your food. A little bit goes a long way. So here, you just gotta find a spot that you like. Obviously, 100% isn't gonna be it unless you were looking for some sort of drag and drop, one click and done sort of solution, but that's not how professional colorists use LUTs. Real professionals will bring it down, typically anywhere between like 20 and 80% usually, and build their look off of that. The whole look isn't supposed to be just the LUT. Dialing it back gives you the style of the LUT without destroying the image. The pros do this every time just because it's not about slapping on a filter, but controlling it. But color is just the surface. The next mistake is so obvious that as soon as you hit play, you can feel the problem. You've seen it before, maybe motion graphics editing, where so you zoom in maybe, or you pan left to right, but the animation will stop like it's hitting a wall and it's just dead in the water. It feels robotic, it feels bad. It looks kind of like this. It just stops too quick. Well, the fix is just easing your keyframes, and luckily, DaVinci Resolve gives you an option on the edit page to do this. The first is opening up the keyframes menu right here, and you can see the keyframes that you have already added. In this case, it's just a simple position shift where it shifts from left to right. But again, it stops too quick. It's just too robotic. So you press this little button right here. This is the keyframe editor, and all I'm gonna do is click and drag to select both points, right click, and press ease in and out. And you get this S kind of curve. I always like to drag this one out all the way, and now watch. It just moves a lot easier, it moves a lot smoother, looks a lot better. Definitely a pro method here. It's just like that little seasoning, it's the little finishing touches that make things look amateur versus pro. This is definitely a pro detail. Oh, and here's a bonus tip, don't ease everything. You gotta think about intent. Like for example, a slow zoom out feels great for dramatic or maybe intense moments, whereas a sharp ease in works well for YouTube cut. The point is that motion, it needs personality. Now, fixing color and motion is huge, but here's one mistake that isn't about either of those. Resolve's magic mask is, well, magic. It's incredible how well it works, and I use it a lot in my own projects and in my own work aside from YouTube. But I'm going to show you how to never have to retrack, just because sometimes when you track, you have to restart Resolve or Resolve crashes, and then you have to go back and retrack that data, and it can just take a while. It's extremely redundant. It can get very frustrating. So I'm going to show you how to never have to do that again. So let's say you have your clip on the timeline. This is the clip that I'm going to be working with, and the very first thing I'm going to do is duplicate it, drag up. Okay, now I'm going to mark this clip orange just to be able to reference it in the color page. Jump over to the color page, confirm we are in that orange clip with this orange dot right here. Now let's track our subject, right? So inside of Magic Mask, I have better selected. I'm going to turn on my overlay and just start tracking my subject here. Well, not tracking it, but making the selection. That looks pretty damn good. I'm going to track forward and backwards, and we'll see how well this works. I also do want to point out that for what this is incredibly fast. Like how quickly it's rotoscoping everything. Now, granted, it's not perfect, but I'm not showing you how to get a perfect Magic Mask in this video. I'm showing you how to never have to retrack. All right, it's done tracking, and you can see down here in our track data, it shows blue, which means it tracks perfect. So now I'm going to turn off overlay, and the next thing you want to do, right, is just disconnect this connection right here. You want to cut that off. You want to take the output of blue and drag this into media out. So now you're going to get this white look, like you're going to be white, or your subject or whatever you track is going to be white. In this case, it's me. Jump back to the edit page, and now you want to render this in place. So I'm going to press render in place here. Now I have a lightweight codec set up. I have QuickTime H.265. I'm going to render this. It's going to ask me where I want to put it. I'm just going to drop it in this folder and render. Now, as this is finishing up, you're going to have a solid clip with just this white image right here. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this bottom one again, bring this on top. We're going to change some composite modes. So for this first one, this is the foreground. So we're going to set the composite mode to foreground. This one right here in the middle, your white render, we're going to set the composite mode to Luma. Now, nothing changes here. You don't really see any difference, but if I drag these two up and take a text effect and take title here, you can see that I am now placed in front of the title. And it stays this way just because of how this is acting as a matte relative to the clip up above, which is already designated as the foreground thanks to us changing the composite modes. So now I can independently edit what's in front versus what's in the back and never have to retrack again. So nice. So this one trick with these few steps turns Magic Mask from a gamble into a reliable tool. You can stack them, reuse them, and like never have to worry about cracking from scratch ever again. So, and just like that, the amateur pain points, they're gone. Which brings us to the big picture. So just to recap, those are the 3 points. Turn down your LUTs, don't keep them at 100%. Ease your keyframing, ease your movements, and never have to retrack Magic Mask inside of DaVinci Resolve ever again. None of them take long, but each one of them instantly levels up your video editing game. It's good to know. So now I'm curious, which of these fixes do you think you'll be implementing into your own workflow as soon as possible? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to know if you're planning on using any of these anytime soon. And if you want more Resolve tips and tricks like this, let me know in the comments. Leave a like on this video and don't forget to subscribe, most importantly. But that's all from me. I'll see you in the next video, and thank you so much for watching.